Now, my friends, with the remaining time we have here on this episode 169 of MediaMonarchy.com for May 7th, 2010, we're going to get the latest 9/11 updates and start it with, again, another well-timed piece of information, another well-timed event. We talk about the multi-generational serial killers, the families, the societies, the bloodlines, if you will, the Illuminati. They do exist. Do they pull every string and make every little single thing happen? Probably not. But to a large degree, events are manipulated behind the scenes. So again, right on time, just as they were talking about drilling, we have the Gulf disaster. Just as they're talking about financial reform, we have the Goldman Sachs bust. Just as we're talking about these things, new events come out. And again, that's why we do the data mining for you here on MediaMonarchy.com. So let's get the story from AOL News by way of 9/11 blogger. Right on time. Securities and Exchange Commission finds no sign 9/11 conspirators bet on attacks. Again, from AOLnews.com. Nearly 9 years, 2 recessions, and thousands of conspiracy theories later, the U.S. government has made it official. Initial speculation after the 9/11 terrorist attacks that plotters made financial bets against the airlines or other companies hurt by the events was unfounded. As a sidebar, we'll note that when we were going over the recent econo-crash news, that congressmen and the banksters and Goldman were all actively betting against America and reap great profit. So again, this isn't just some left field thing pulled out of a hat. Continuing. The Securities and Exchange Commission began its inquiry into the matter on September 12, 2001, and went on to examine trading in the U.S. and foreign securities markets that took place between August 20th of that year and 9/11. While the agency wrapped up its investigation in May 2002, and there were references to the SEC's conclusion in the report by the Federal 9/11 Commission, the findings were kept secret. The Securities and Exchange Commission found no evidence that the conspirators behind 9/11 made financial bets against the airlines or other companies hurt by the terrorist assault. But the privately operated, nonpartisan National Security Archives fought for 6 years to make the SEC report public, an effort aided by the Obama administration's push to declassify documents across the spectrum of government affairs. And so now most of the SEC's pre-September 11, 2001 trading review was made public. It's a 2 meg PDF that you can download. We have the links for you. And basically, it didn't happen. Because they talked to the banksters. They asked the banksters, hey, did you guys do put options and bet short on United and American? No, of course we didn't. They're not going to mention that it traced back to Buzzy Krongard, second of the CIA at the time, and Deutsche Bank, and those other connections. So let's get a little flashback. Let's go back to September 20th, 2001, with the late Peter Jennings, even then on September 20th, talking about 9/11 insider trading.
Federal officials have begun a major investigation into whether someone or many people benefited financially from the evil done to the country last Tuesday. Not long before the attacks occurred, there were some financial transactions in the stock market that may indicate knowledge of the attack before it began. ABC's Antonio Mora is here. Whether they ever get to, if they ever get to the bottom of it, it will be astonishing.
Astonishing, no question, Peter. What many Wall Street analysts believe is that the terrorists made bets that a number of stocks would see their prices fall. They did so by buying what are called puts. If you bet right, the rewards can be huge. The risks are also huge, unless, of course, you know something bad is going to happen to the company you're betting against.
This could very well be insider trading at the worst, most horrific, most evil use you've ever seen in your entire life.
One example, United Airlines. The Thursday before the attack, more than 2,000 contracts betting that the stock would go down were purchased. 90 times more in one day than in 3 weeks. When the markets reopened, United's stock dropped. The price of the contracts soared, and someone may have made a lot of money fast.
$180,000 turns into $2.4 million when that plane hits the World Trade Center.
It's almost the same story with American Airlines.
That's a five-fold increase in the value of what was a $337,000 trade on Monday.
All of a sudden becomes what?
$1.8 million.
And there's much more, including an extraordinarily high number of bets against Morgan Stanley and Marsh & McLennan, two of the World Trade Center's biggest tenants.
Could this be a coincidence?
This would be one of the most extraordinary coincidences in the history of mankind if it was a coincidence.
It is absolutely unprecedented to see cases of insider trading covering the entire world, from Japan to the United States and North America to Europe.
ABC News has now learned that the Chicago Board of Options Exchange launched their investigation into the unusual trading last week. That may have given them enough time to stop anyone from profiting from death here in the U.S. It may also give investigators, Peter, a hot trail that might lead them to the terrorists.
Thanks very much. As a reminder of the complications here, the Secretary of the Treasury said today of this investigation, you got to go through 10 veils before you get to the real source. Yep. Thanks, Antonio.
Now, as is always seemingly the case, the earlier reporting is the most correct. There we go, back to September 20th, 2001. It would be astronomical coincidence, but of course, AOL News and the SEC all saying it didn't happen. Quickly, now, the rest of the 9/11 updates. Two more clips we want to rock out for you. A reminder for you, my friends, from the fine folks at redactednews.blogspot.com, my man Jeff Long. Afghan war was planned a year before 9/11. That's right. Carpet of gold or carpet of bombs. To help flesh this out, let's hop to a recent talk from Dr. David Ray Griffin. It's a longer video series. We're just going to listen to the part concerning Afghanistan and Osama bin Laden and 9/11.
After the bombing began in October, the Taliban tried again, offering to turn bin Laden over to a third country if the United States would stop the bombing and provide evidence of his guilt.